Okay, here I'm going to show you how to fix the poor transmission problem in the KX-TG2000b or 4000b base station. Now, if all your cordless phones on your base station sound bad, that means the audio being transmitted to them is the problem. So the radio module in the base station itself is the problem, but you cannot hear it in the base station, only in the cordless phones. It's a common problem found in both the cordless phones and the base station. In the cordless phones, you won't hear it. It only affects the transmitted audio. So you can't hear it in the phone that has the problem, only on the other end of the call. So anyway, this is pretty easy in the base station to fix because it's quite different than the handsets. The handsets are left in the rain, dropped on the floor, and the causes are usually quite different for the problem. In the base unit, it's usually quite easy to fix. What you need to do is just take out the 5 screws, one in the middle and one in each corner, and the back should come right off. Obviously, you have the power off and everything unplugged. Right here is the RF module, the radio module, and the problem that it has is the lid isn't getting good ground connection. So I'm using a big screwdriver, the one I took the back off, but you can use a small flat screwdriver preferably. And you can grab onto the edge and just pry the lid off. There's nothing usually, if it is soldered on, then there's something else going on. You can just stop right there. But if it's just snap-on, sometimes it's a little hard to get off, but you can peel off. Just make sure not to break any components, like using these components as leverage. I would use this top edge and this side edge as leverage. And you don't have to pull it completely off. Just get it a little bit off and then wiggle it, and it'll loosen up and come off. Anyway, after you get the lid off, what you want is a simple wire brush. You can pick them up at hardware stores, or you might have one around. This is the easiest way to handle it. And just clean the inside edge of this metal lid, like that. Now, you can't really easily clean the outside edge of this. There's no real room to get in there, and there's other things you could damage. You might be able to. One thing you possibly could do is use maybe a Q-tip and rubbing alcohol, but I really think this will solve the problem in most cases. So just clean it up, and then you just snap it back on. If it's really loose, it shouldn't be, but if it's really loose, you might want to just bend in the edges a little bit. Basically, what the cause of the problem is the radio module is very picky about grounding. And the lid, if you took the lid off, it doesn't seem like it's important, but the radio module would not work. It needs the grounding, or it will cause problems with the transmitted audio. So basically, clean it up, snap it back on, and that should solve the problem, at least temporarily. When we repair it, we always solder the lid to the side, and you have to be careful when doing that, so I wouldn't recommend trying it yourself. But that is a permanent, this should last maybe years, maybe permanent. It's hard to tell. It depends on the unit and how you use it and where it is. A lot of moisture in the air tends to cause more problems, especially if you're in a warm area near the ocean. You might experience a lot more problems with that. So put the screws all back in. And one thing I'm going to mention while we're here is there's a reset button right here. And a lot of people don't know about that. And if you ever have problems with the phone lines, really a lot of different problems, you can just flip it over and push that button, and it fixes a lot of issues people don't realize. One of them is definitely trouble with phone lines, just weird issues with the telephone lines coming in. That seems to fix it a lot of different things. But that's it. Once you've done that, hopefully the audio and all your cordless phones will be back to normal. If not, contact us and explain the problem, and maybe we can help.